Yeah, Dumbledore's off his rocket all right. His rocker all right. Oh, hey guys. This is part 4, I think, of Chamber of Secrets because I can make store-in videos. What's that sound? Oh, that was just me. Okay. Yeah, Dumbledore's off his rocker all right, said Ron proudly. Listen, you've got to be up for the end of year fest tomorrow. The twins are all in and Slytherin won, of course. You missed the last Quidditch match. We were steamrollered by Ravenclaw without you, but the food will be good. At the moment, Madame Pomfrey bustled in. You've had nearly 15 minutes. Now out, she said firmly. After a good night's sleep, Harry felt nearly back to normal. I want to go to the feast, he told Madame Pomfrey as he straightened his many candy boxes. I can, can't I? Professor Dumbledore says you are to be allowed to go, she said stiffly, as though in her opinion, Professor Dumbledore didn't realize how risky feasts could be. And you have another visitor. Oh, good, said Harry. Who is it? Harry signaled through the door as he spoke. As usual, when he was indoors, Harry looked too big to be allowed. He sat down next to Harry, took one look at him, and burst into tears. It's all my Rudy fault, he sobbed, his face in his hands. I told the evil Get helped her get past Fluffy. I told him it was the only thing he didn't know, and I told him you could have died. All for a dragon egg. I'll never drink again. I should have been chucked out and made to live as a muggle. Hagrid, said Harry, shocked to see Hagrid shaking with grief and remorse, great tears leaking down into his beard. Hagrid, he'd have found out somehow. This is Voldemort we're talking about. He'd have found out even if you haven't told him. You could have died. And don't say his name. Voldemort! Harry bellowed, and Hagrid was so shocked he stopped crying. I've met him, and I'm calling him by his name. Please cheer up, Hagrid. We saved the stone. It's gone. He can't use it. Have a chocolate frog. I've got loads. Hagrid wiped his nose on the back of his hand and said, That reminds me, I've got you a present. It's not a stoat sandwich, is it? Said Harry anxiously. And at last, Hagrid gave a weak chuckle. Dude, we're almost done. We're almost done. Pretty sure we're almost done. How many pages are there? I've got 6 more pages. No, I got 5 more pages. Nah, Dumbledore gave me the day off yesterday to fix it. Of course, he should have sacked me instead. Anyway, got you this. It seemed to be a handsome, leather-covered book. Harry opened it curiously. It was full of wizard photographs. Smiling and waving at him from every page were his mother and father. Oh. I'm sorry. I forgot all about it. I don't remember this page. Sent owls off to all your parents' old school friends asking for photos. Knew you didn't didn't have any. Do you like it? Do you like it? Harry couldn't speak, but Hagrid understood. Harry made his way down to the end of the year feast alone that night. He had been held up by Madame Pomfrey's fussing about, insisting on giving him one last checkup. The great hall was already full. It was decked out in the Slytherin colors of green and silver to celebrate Slytherin's winning the House Cup for the 7th year in a row. Where am I? A huge banner showing the Slytherins separate covered the table behind the high table. Covering the wall behind the high table. When Harry walked in there, a sudden hush, and then everybody started talking loudly at once. He slipped into a seat between Ron and Hermione at the Gryffindor table and tried to ignore the fact that people were standing up to look at him. Fortunately, Dumbledore arrived moments later. The babble died away. "Another year gone, Dumbledore," Dumbledore said cheerfully, "and I must trouble you with an old man's wheezing waffle. We sink our teeth into our delicious feast. What year has been? Hopefully your heads are a little fuller than they were. You have the whole summer ahead to get them nice and empty before next year starts. Now, as I understand it, the House Cup here needs awarding, and the points stand thus. In 4th place, Gryffindor with 312 points, and third, Hufflepuff with 352. Ravenclaw has 476. And Slytherin, 472. A storm of cheering and stampede broke out from the Slytherin table. Harry could see Draco Malfoy banging his goblet on the table. It was a sickening sight. Yes, well done, Slytherin," said Dumbledore. "However, recent events must be taken into account." The room went very still. The Slytherin smiles faded a little. "Ahem," said Dumbledore. "I have a few last-minute points to dish out. Let me see, yes. First, to Mr. Ronald Weasley." Ron went purple in his face. He looked like a radish with a bad sunburn. "For the best played game of chess Hogwarts has ever seen in many years. I award Gryffindor House 50 points. Gryffindor cheers nearly raised in the bewitched ceiling. The stars overhead seemed to quiver. Percy could be heard telling the other prefects, "My brother, my youngest brother, got past Michael's giant chess set." At last there was silence again. Second, to Miss Hermione Granger, for the use of cool logic in the face of fire. I award Gryffindor House 50 points. Harry buried his face in her arms. Harry strongly suspected she had burst into tears. Gryffindors up and down the table were besides themselves, they were 100 points up. Third to Mr. Harry Potter, said Dumbledore. The room went deadly quiet. For pure nerve and outstanding courage, I award Gryffindor House 60 points. The din was deafening. Those who could add up while yelling themselves hoarse knew that Gryffindor now had 472 points. Exactly the same as Slytherin. They had tied for the House Cup. If only Dumbledore had given Harry just one more point. Dumbledore raised his hand. The room gradually fell silent. "They're all things of courage," said Dumbledore, smiling. "It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to our enemies, but just as much stand up for friends. I therefore award 10 points to Mr. Neville Longbottom." Okay, when I read this the first time, I thought it was Neville. Now I know it's Neville. Neville Longbottom. Someone was standing outside the great hall. Might well have thought some sort of explosion had taken place, so loud that the noise erupted from the Gryffindor table. Harry, Ron, and Hermione stood up to yell and cheer as Neville, white and shocked, disappeared under a pile of people hugging him. So guys, that's part 4. Now this part 5. I'm almost done. So, bye guys.